Yo, what's going down? I don't know about you, but it's hot as hell where I'm at.
I'm
But we,
outside, so
you know what I'm saying? But
it's
we hope
81.
you are well. You know what I mean? And it's another day. Good day to you all. And we hope you are prepared for a fiery episode. I believe it. I'm calling it right now. It's going to be a fiery episode of the podcast where two black guys talk like wrestling and stuff like nobody else in the world. So that means it is time for the first Black Champ podcast. And I'm Cam from the Port.
And I am J.R. Bang. Make sure you rate, like, subscribe, download to the Barbershop Digital, home of First Black Champ.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and get that merch. If you follow us on Instagram, just click the link in the bio. Click the link in all our bios. It's going to take you there. Make sure you join the group, the First Black Champ group. If you just like, yo, I want to follow y'all, but I ain't trying to be a part of no group with some people that talk about wrestling, especially if they virgins, hey, y'all just go ahead and like the page on First Black Champ Facebook, man. Fiery as it is, I'm just going to go ahead and get this off right now, Camp. I was right a bit.
Okay.
About 6 through 10
of
the best tag teams of all time.
Watched it this morning.
The order was off.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah.
But I was right.
True.
I was right. So just I know we talked about the tag teams last week, our favorites. We ain't gonna take too long on this one because there's a lot of stuff going on in wrestling now. But I just want to recap what we got in the 10 through 6 of the best tag teams of all time. The British Bulldogs at number 10.
Yeah.
Followed by the Brothers of Destruction.
Bullshit. Right.
At number 9. The New Age Outlaws at number 8. The Usos at number 7. And the Legion of Doom at number 6. So just to give you guys some context here, when we went through this list and when Demolition was number 11.
Right.
Mainly.
Yeah.
We was like, yo, what's going on here? And I put the Brothers of Destruction at number 10, the British Bulldogs at number 9, the New Age Outlaws at number 8, LOD at number 7, and Usos at number 6 was my prediction. So the Usos and LOD switch, and the British Bulldogs and Brothers of Destruction switch. Before you snap about the Legion of Doom, I agree with it. I agree with their position.
Okay.
Here's why.
Okay.
Because I had to do it on my Instagram when one of the homies, shouts out to Ogun, was like, yeah, Legion of Doom top 3. And I think somebody had said it on the First Black Champ Instagram too. I agree with it because they never let the Road Warriors rock in the WWE. When they came in, they came in as the greatest tag team of all time.
Right.
Let's put it like this. The LOD, Legion of Doom, Road Warriors is probably the best tag team of all time.
To y'all.
And hear me out here. Hear me out here. Because they're not my greatest of all time.
Okay.
I've said mine is the New Day.
Right.
But because of the way that the Road Warriors impacted tag team wrestling is why I will give them that nod. The Road Warriors were at the top of the top of cards, like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair was at the top of cards.
Facts.
That's why. Them matches could have been 5 minutes long, 5 seconds long. It could have been a lot of slip-ups. It could have been stiff. It could have been Hulk high. It could have been all of that. But the Road Warriors was on the top of cards everywhere they went, for the exception of the WWE.
Right.
They brought them in the WWE, and to me, even though they were always the Legion of Doom, because there was a group called Legion of Doom with the Road Warriors in it. I think Jake Roberts was a member of the Legion of Doom. It was somebody else. So it was easy to switch the name. But I also believe when they switched the name, they put them into the cookie cutter PG at the time. When they got there, style of the WWE. The same reason why the Steiner Brothers is number 2 on my list
Mm-hmm.
is also why they're so low on my WWE list.
Okay.
Mainly because when they came there, they just made them a bit player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the one thing that I hate, and this is the reason why I want to start this off,
Okay.
because I ain't never heard nobody say this shit.
What's that?
Never. I've listened to a whole bunch of podcasts. I've listened to podcasts with them talking about the World Warriors. I've seen World Warrior docs. I've seen the Dark Side of the Ring. I know these niggas was high. All that shit.
Right.
Now Hulk and Two Cold Scorpio and Korea, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my number one issue with the WWE and the World Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
They never put these niggas with Hulk Hogan. How
Elaborate.
big the Road Warriors were.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I said, they were on top of cards
Right.
themselves.
Yeah,
Not
by
even
themselves.
going up against the Four Horsemen.
Right.
But when you put the Road Warriors up against the Four Horsemen, it was money.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that often. Even look at some of the War Games. The War Games was built off of the backs of the Four Horsemen and the Road Warriors feud.
Right.
Road Warriors feud.
Yeah, no doubt.
So they always found a way to involve Hulk and Animal with the biggest name in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine Hulk Hogan. And mind you, this would have to been WrestleMania 8 time.
Right.
Around that. And I'm not saying it had to be done at a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have an issue that I'm going to bring up today that I noticed yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if Hulk Hogan would have came down to the ring with the spikes on.
Mm-hmm.
Or imagine if it was Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior versus the Road Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucking money.
Yeah. But
Go ahead.
that's got to be a squash match. Unfortunately, in the
getting squashed?
in the WWF, the LOD have to get squashed in that match.
But see, I'm glad that's part of the reason why I'm like, all right, I understand them being that at 6. And you know what? I'm not mad to the point where they could be lower. Because as you said, in the WWF, that's a squash.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere else, that's major money. But in the WWF, that's a squash.
Mm-hmm.
And they not going to let no tag, at that time, they wasn't going to let no tag team be bigger than the Mega Powers.
Hey, number 15 on my list.
I know, yeah.
So
Fuck number 15 and 13 on your list and the WWE's list.
Yeah, no doubt. And listen, I totally get it, right? So let's talk Legion of Doom Road Warriors, right? Because I forgot I did not post my 11 through 20.
You did?
So I had posted it twice. Yeah, I just posted it like overnight. Because the Legion of Doom on my list is 11.
Right.
And to keep it real, with everything you're saying, the reason why I had so much issue and posted it so late, because I was going to put them lower.
Yep.
I was really going to have them at like 18 or 19. And immediately, of course, because our demo were basically all young kids at the same time that we were young kids when the LOD was popping.
Yeah.
But the thing that I really wanted to point out is, for me, especially when we're talking about the run in the WWF, both of them, the 1991 and the 1997 one, is that the Legion of Doom weren't the Road Warriors,
No.
like by any stretch. The feud with, or the feud or the rivalry, whatever, with Demolition was a dud.
No, look. No. I don't even want you to bring up Demolition.
Oh no, that's just a small footnote. It was that. I'm just saying
That's why it was that small of a footnote that shit didn't even matter.
right.
Because the Hart Foundation is the one who really won out of all that.
Yes, right. Again, that's why they're not in my top 10 if we're calling them WWE tag teams. And also, man, what I want to say really quickly is that no way that I'm going to put a tag team that had legendary GOAT allure before they arrived, and then, I mean, I guess the only person to blame at this point is Vince or maybe Bruce Pritchard.
I'll blame Vince.
Okay, so we'll blame Vince for putting LOD with Sonny, and then adding Droz to make Legion of LOD 2000.
Right.
So for everybody that thinks that I'm kind of crazy for not putting LOD in my top 10 for WWE tag teams, you can rush to the line to kiss my ass, because that's some bullshit.
Yeah, like I thought you was gonna go the opposite end because the way you reacted when I was like, oh. But so it looks like we on the same page. Like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
If this was a greatest tag team of all time list, let me tell you my top 5.
Okay.
New Day at the top 1.
Okay.
New Day is still number 1. Heart Foundation is number 2. Harlem Heat is number 3. Number 4 is Road Warriors.
Okay.
And number 5 is Demolition.
And then this is just WWE or just
no? This is all time.
So wait, because I didn't hear the Steiners.
Excuse me. Steiners is number 5. Demolition is number 6. My bad.
Okay, no problem. And just to throw it out there, because I know this was before my time for sure. Even though I loved them when I seen them at the time I seen them. No Freebirds?
Not top 5.
Okay.
Top 10, number 7.
Okay.
Now, you hear what I just said. War Warriors, top 5. DOA to me. That's because everything we talk about, what we love from wrestlers, they literally give you that. We want wrestlers just to beat your ass.
Right.
You know what? That's all the War Warriors did.
True.
That's it. Just beat your ass. Come in. Just rush you.
Yeah.
They had some of the funniest jobber matches of all time. They used to just try shit on, like I said, the Steiner brothers just try shit on jobbers. Road Warriors did too, and they were stiff as hell.
Yeah.
And again, everywhere they went, they was at the top of the fucking card.
Yeah.
NWA, WCW, Georgia Championship Wrestling. I said AWA. Like, they was at the top of the Japan.
Right, yeah.
Top of the card.
Literally everywhere but Connecticut.
Right, everywhere but Connecticut. And here's the thing, this is not a bash of the WWE when it comes to that. Because you knew what you knew when you got there. Vince McMahon ain't even the biggest fan of tag team wrestling, according to reports.
Right.
But he know what he got in the Road Warriors when they come.
Right.
So I know there's going to be a lot of people that see our list or hear our list, and they're going to say, yo, why is LOD, like, low? And it's because it's the WWE's greatest tag team list, not wrestling greatest tag team list.
Right.
And unfortunately, they go to WWE, and they feuding against the fucking Beverly Brothers, my G. Yeah. Who, if you look them up, was a hell of a tag team themselves. Right. They was the Wrecking Crew. Yeah. They wasn't in purple with the Genius doing poems and calling Road Warriors and their fans sissies.
Right.
No, they wasn't. It was beating your ass just like the Road Warriors was.
Yeah.
In other organizations. They came to the WWE and Vince was like, nah, man, they blind. We're going to make them the Beverly Brothers, Bo and Blake.
Yeah, man.
And that's who the Road Warriors was feuding against. And getting called, Legion of Sissies.
Right.
So that's why the Road Warriors are so low on my list. That's why they could have been lower. And that's why I also don't mind them being number 6 in the WWE's. Because to me, the reason why they're 6 is the reason why the Briscoe brothers is on the list. It's because of everything they did outside. And then you came in with the name.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. Matter of fact, where did you have LOD on your list?
I had LOD. I just forgot that quick. That quick, but I did have them. I did have them top 10.
Okay. Like, I am
because I don't have my list in front of me.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, I had them just outside the top 10, and to be honest, the more I thought about it, I was like, man, I boosted another tag team because of what they did outside the WWF/E. So I'm not going to drop them as low as I honestly could and make a valid argument just off the both runs that exist in the 90s for LOD versus it being the Road Warriors. To me, it's literally two different tag teams, and you would have to watch it to truly understand what I mean. Like, right. I mean, honestly, yeah, they are the Legion of Doom if Paul Ellering ain't there. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not the Road Warriors to me. They're not the Road Warriors without Paul Ellering.
And he was there for like 5 minutes.
Right. and still, it's like,
and then remember they brought in the doll?
See? You know what I'm saying? So
Legion of Doomers. They was at SummerSlam talking about some Legion of Doomers. I'm like, nah, what?
Like, come on, man. This is for white gangsters. Like this is supposed to be for white gangsters and black kids that like to see people get beat up.
Basically,
you know what I mean?
Yes. So that's why Legion of Doom is so low on my list.
Mm-hmm.
And they could be lower.
Yeah.
And it's mainly because of their time in the WWE, mainly, and not necessarily who they are combined with what they did in the WWE. Like, to me, the Dudley Boys was the only tag team that came outside of the WWE, and really at the time they was the first.
Mm-hmm.
They was the first that I can remember, other than Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, Ric Flair don't count because Ric Flair's an anomaly.
Yeah.
He very well could have been the greatest of all time when he stepped in the WWE ring in 1991.
Yeah, true.
The Dudley Boys was the first tag team to come outside of the WWE. The first team, the first wrestlers to come outside of the WWE and flourish and be at the top of cards and shit. Like Ric Flair, anomaly, like I said, but when the Dudley Boys came in from ECW, I thought they was gonna have Bubba Ray Dudley stuttering for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
And then be featured Endeavored after that. So
they were for about 8 months, and then it was like, nah, I'll do some other shit, and they took off.
Right, and I know somebody gonna say, well, what? They were Warriors at the Tag Team Championships, but it was a footnote.
Right.
What was their WrestleMania match?
Shit, that shit against the Nasty Boys, wasn't it? No, wait, that was SummerSlam. That was SummerSlam against the Nasty Boys. Shit, was it Money Inc.?
You're making my point for me. Like we say, the Dudley Boys, motherfuckers gonna say WrestleMania 2000 off jump.
Yeah.
If you say the Brain Busters, you're gonna be like, WrestleMania 5? Wasn't they at WrestleMania 5? I think they was at WrestleMania 5, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think they went against the Rockers, Jack.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like one of the first 3 matches, yeah. So, yeah.
Uneventful. Vince McMahon wasn't finna let Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard be stars. Motherfuckers put on these satin jackets, my nigga.
Right. He was like, well, Rick couldn't make it, so.
Right. Trying to get all of y'all at one time in this motherfucker.
Right.
You know, Rick was like, I'ma stay. I'ma stay. All right, man, I want to start this off with Raw.
Okay.
And I want to start this off good and hot.
All right.
And with black people. Black on Black Prime is what I'm naming this episode. And I'm naming it Black on Black Prime for a reason.
Mm.
I told you might want to watch Raw.
Yeah.
Because
by the way.
Because we recorded this episode. We recorded last episode later in the week on Wednesday when we normally record on Sunday. Told them to watch Raw. You might like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to pass it on to you. How did you like the beginning of the show and the end of the show?
Man, it's like, even if you know the outcome, that was just great to see. Because I think since the draft or the trade or whatever they did, basically since breaking down the New Day to just a duo, I think there has been some speculation about what will be next for Xavier Woods specifically.
Yeah.
Because literally, if you think about it, at the end of the day, they're putting the package together for Big E. Kofi's now a former WWE champion. And Xavier Woods is still Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods is extremely talented at a few things, but for some reason, you know, he'll just never be looked at as a top guy for a wrestling brand.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Let me be the first to say that's okay.
Yes, because there's literally 500,000 other wrestlers in that same boat, and he's the one in the WWE, and the rest of those guys are trying to get his spot. So for one, for that much black promo at the beginning of the show was phenomenal. Two, for a black on black main event to be sanctioned or confirmed at the beginning of the show, and a high value specialty match at the beginning of Raw with a guy who is probably not going to get an opportunity like that again as a solo wrestler.
Right.
That was an incredible episode of Raw.
And I get what you're saying about Xavier Woods, and I agree. And it's not disrespectful, because the reason why I say that is because, as I try to share this, the thing about Xavier Woods is he's the third member.
Yeah.
He's the third member. And I've said on the show that, like, yo, I wish I had talked about on the show about him and the King of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that he had mentioned. That's something that he said that he would like to be, and all of those things. And I was like, you know what? That might be something for Buddy. Because, look, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. I'd rather see him as the King of the Ring than Baron Corbin. And we'll get on that switch later on today.
Okay.
But because I like Xavier Woods. I like Xavier Woods as a character. And he can wrestle.
Yeah. Facts.
He can wrestle. But we're never going to see him as the WWE champion. We're never going to see him like the U.S. championship, I bet. You know, the Intercontinental Championship, I bet. And that's still like using that loosely, because that's more transitional champion than somebody who's going to hold this belt for like who somebody's going to be Apollo Crews.
Right.
Or AJ Styles. Like, he lose the championship to give it to lose it to a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa if he is in fact a heel.
Mm.
But I used the part of the wrestling shit because that Monday was the best wrestling match I've ever seen from Xavier Woods. And I'm gonna say this, and it means well. This was the first time I looked at a match and I was like, okay, I see what the internet wrestling community be talking about when it comes to some wrestlers. Okay. Don't mean that I fully agree with it, okay, but I had the Cesaro thought in my head when I was looking at Xavier Woods wrestle.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh man, if they had him doing shit like this whole time, he might be, and still gave him the horn. Man, you know what? But then I was, let me slap myself. Because everybody can't beat that.
Right.
But you have to be that in moments like this to get people over.
Yes.
So Monday was one of my favorite Raw episodes ever.
Okay.
Because it was black, one. But two, the ass beating, the match, first of all, and a Hell in a Cell. Because I'm going to say they was playing Xavier Woods a little bit too, like he ain't never been in the motherfucking Hell in a Cell.
Man. Which was my thing. And I was like, you know what? He's already in a top 5 Hell in a Cell match. If we look back at specifically the New Day Usos Hell in a Cell match, all of that great innovation came from Xavier Woods.
Yep.
Like, Xavier Woods is extremely creative. He's deceptively strong. He's actually a very small power wrestler with a high athletic ceiling.
Uh-huh.
The problem is, my man ain't like 6'3". Because if he was 6'3" or taller, he'd be a 2-time WWE champion. minimum.
Yeah.
And he probably would have beat Kofi to do it. I think what was very underrated about this is that Bobby Lashley and Xavier Woods complement each other as far as wrestling styles a lot more than I think we even realize until you watch that match.
That shit was so clean.
Yeah.
And it shedded a dope light on Bobby Lashley too. Mm-hmm. Because I don't never, other than Ricochet, mm-hmm. other than the Ricochet and the Cedric, like I've never, who was the top flight small guy we saw Bobby Lashley against?
Right.
And what I mean by that is like a Finn Balor.
Right.
Like, because he did go up against Finn Balor.
Yeah.
But this was before we were watching the Bobby Lashley we're watching now.
Right, exactly.
And that's what, again, made this so dope. Because now we're looking at Bobby. Well, let me fix that. Because I was upset at seeing Bobby Lashley win that match, a Hell in a Cell with a roll-up.
Yeah. The ending left much to be desired.
He's supposed to throw a motherfucker out the cage and gave him the full Nelson. Like you gave these motherfuckers an out. But then I look at the match the next day. I'm like, okay, we dominant, we back, but god damn, mm-hmm. these motherfuckers is like nice with each other, which in turn makes me anticipate Money in the Bank even more, because at Money in the Bank, Kofi Kingston will be going up against Bobby Lashley. And I don't have a guarantee. This is not a guarantee that I'm going to bring up later on in the show. It's just the possibility that if you're a black wrestling fan, you are going to bust a nut.
Okay.
Like, don't let me forget it. Because this one right here, if this happens, oh my God, this is like Super Saiyan, Dragon Ball Z, like getting the mushroom and getting tall or getting the little leaf shit and flying in Mario Brothers. This is the ultimate black storyline without even using the term black. If they went with this, I'm gonna tell y'all later in the show.
Okay.
But that match, man, and even the ending where MVP got in the cage and locked it, and you saw the two black men jump into one black man while his black friend watched. Camp, I hope they do a montage. And in this montage, they play like the song from Rocky IV. There's no easy way out. Like, that shit is montage material at its best. If you ever watched Raw and was like, they're going to use that shit for a montage. They're going to use that shit for a montage. And it was black on black crime. It was two black men. If you look at it, these are the two biggest black men in the WWE going up against each other. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we're looking at our mega powers collide. Or we're looking at our Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, with MVP being Bobby the Brain Heenan. Mm-hmm. It gets no blacker than what's going to happen at Money in the Bank. And you know what, Camp? I'll say it now, because we transition to the Money in the Bank.
Okay.
The matches is going on. Ricochet in that bitch. Who up in that Riddle? Who was my prediction to win it?
Yeah, I was gonna say
he was gonna be my guarantee fully. Mm-hmm. He's winning Money in the Bank. Then they had Big E versus Apollo Crews. Big E won. Mm-hmm. It's not a guarantee, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a guarantee hope. This is just the blackest shit in wrestling history if this happens. Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston at Money in the Bank. But the first match of the night is the Money in the Bank Raw match. SmackDown match. Mm-hmm. And Bobby Lashley, he won't be nervous because he's the Raw champ.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the SmackDown joint. Big E wins it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have the match at the end of the night where it's Bobby Lashley versus... And it's not even at the end of the night because that ain't going to be the end of the night match. Roman Reigns versus Edge is going to end that show. But let's just say it's the middle of the show. Let's just say it's the middle of the show. And they do Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. It's a hard-hitting match. Kofi Kingston and came off the top rope and hit him with the boom. All that shit. And Bobby Lashley is spearing him and he's giving him the full Nelson and he's slithering his way out. And this time he finally gets him. He gets him in the full Nelson. And just bow. He got him in the full Nelson. And Kofi Kingston trying to get out that bitch. And then he get up on the ropes. Twing, twing, twing. Turnbuckle. Boom. He flips. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Crowd goes nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kofi Kingston is Kofi Mania 2 in this bitch, baby. He wins the world championship. Boom. Boom. And you're winner of the World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Kofi Kingston. And Michael Cole snapping, not Michael Cole. Jimmy Smith snapping. Oh my goodness, what an upset. Corey Graves is like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Kofi Mania's 2. Byron Saxton sitting there with his mouth wide open like, oh no. And then Big E come out there to celebrate. Xavier Woods out there with the homies. Yeah. Got Pentecostal church music. And then Big E look at Kofi Kingston and slam this motherfucker in the goddamn match. Bow! And everybody goes, what? Because mind you, first pay-per-view from the fans, people, since WrestleMania. You don't do these during WrestleMania. You do this to a pay-per-view like the Money in the Bank. He gets him, boom, belly to belly. Bow! Xavier Woods looking at him like, wait a minute, Big E, what is you? He pushes him. And Xavier Woods is spooked. He grabs the trombone. He looks at Xavier Woods. He sees Kofi, turns around, he gets to Kofi. Bah! Oh! Crowd is just, Jimmy Smith, Byron Saxton, Corey Graves, they're quiet. Don't speak during this. Vince is in the microphone. Guys, do not speak. Do not speak during this segment. I know y'all shocked. I know y'all like, yo, what's going on? Don't speak. So they quiet. Hey, man, what the fuck Vince doing? And then he pulls out the Money in the Bank, gives it to the referee, and you hear Corey Graves go, oh no, oh my God. You gotta be kidding me. What? Ding, ding, ding. Big E gives Kofi Kingston the big ending. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Your winner and the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Big E. And everybody in the crowd is like this. What did we just see? did we just see the breakup of the New Day? And Corey Graves go, technically, no. Because Big E has been over on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And can't get a world championship match with Roman Reigns. And he's losing to Apollo Crews. And then he got to see y'all over here on Ross killing it. And I won the Money in the Bank. What you expect me to do, homie? And he tried to reconcile it. He tried to reconcile it with him, you know, basically doing his thing.
Right.
And his homie just so happened to get the belt. And this was an easy time for me to get it. I catch you slipping. The end.
Well, hey, listen. That, as elaborate and as detailed as it is, would be the single greatest thing to happen to Big E's career for the rest of 2021. I want to be clear on that. I don't even want to speak against this. What I want to do is tell you why it needs to happen. And the reason why it needs to happen is this. You're right. Because even though the company is high on Big E, and even though the battery is in his back, and even though Aleister Black had very positive and great things to say, and although we know that in his New Day run, he was something special, he is low-key floundering right now while Apollo Crews has kind of taken over where we thought he would be by now. Belt or not, we thought that he would be a focal point and his character would be developed at another level versus Apollo Crews. So yeah, him bopping Kofi over the head a couple times to get that title and then be on Raw the next day to be like, hey, look, man, there's still love, but I'm not waiting 12 years. It's like, yo, I'm not waiting that long, bro. Like,
and you the homie, I thought you understood.
Right. Like, that works out for Big E in a great way. I mean, it's like, oh, so now what you gonna do? Like, you want to try to take it from Bobby Lashley? Somebody don't love you and care about you, or you want to fight me for it?
How come you just can't be happy for me, fam?
Yeah, you know,
like, why you want to fight me?
You know,
like we wrestled at Royal Rumbles,
like, and be like, hey, look at the Tron, that's me holding you up at WrestleMania,
right?
No, that's me holding you up at Kofi Mania. Look,
bruh, with me being the champion, the New Day is still the champ. It's just the New Day.
Hey, listen.
You had your shot. It's now my time. Now, we can be cool about this, or we can't. You let me know what the lid is, though.
Hey, so this is so high key. This needs to happen to save Big E's 2021, in my opinion.
I mean, look, I have predicted a lot of shit in wrestling since we've done this pod. Some storylines that I've talked about on this pod has happened.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the WWE is listening to this pod, but hey, look, hey, y'all. If y'all listening, just know this is me and Mike like Vince. This is me and the Mike like Vince. If this were to happen, it's money. Money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think it's only two, even when we finish putting in the people for the Money in the Bank, there's only two people that got a chance of winning this to me. It's the person that I do guarantee is going to win it, and that's Riddle.
Okay.
I think Riddle is going to win the Money in the Bank. And the only other person I believe that has a chance of winning that Money in the Bank is Big E.
Yeah.
And I think the WWE is in a good position because I think, you know how certain wrestlers get up on the ring, get up on the ladder, and they like, you see fans go, oh no, hell no.
Right.
And it ain't even because like they hate the character. It's like, nah, we good.
Yeah.
Like, what's my man in the meme?
Oh yeah.
Like, Drewski when Drew. Yeah. Nah, we good. We good on that one. You got it. You good? Like, nah. But I think it's only two wrestlers that people are really gonna give a fuck about. That's currently in the Money in the Bank right now. The only other person to me is Adam Cole. If they decide to put Adam Cole in the Money in the Bank, because there's some rumors that I'm gonna throw out to you in a second to get your thoughts on.
Okay.
I think he would be the only person that fans would really truly be like, look, because there's something going on with Keith Lee. I read an article where it might be because of his name, and like the trademark shit is why he's probably not wrestling.
What?
Yeah, some weird shit. Yeah, like look it up.
Yo.
Look that shit up in your phone while we doing this. Like Keith
Okay.
Lee, name. And it's like some issue they said with that shit. Weird as hell.
Wow.
So I'm removing Keith Lee out of this equation of anything and everything like WWE-ish right now.
Okay.
Right now, Keith Lee don't exist
Okay.
until they get that straight. With that being said, them the only two that I believe, like, you put them in a Money in the Bank match and people like, oh man, I hope this person win. I don't think people give a shit. I still say, like, with Ricochet having clothes on, he's 2 steps away from being out the building. And that's just putting the shirt on and getting his bag.
Right.
He already got on jeans.
He probably ain't got a bag no more.
Right. He already got on jeans, sneakers, and a jacket when he comes in. All he needs is a shirt and his bag, and he's out.
Yeah, just leave the phone in the car and don't bring nothing.
Right.
At this point.
And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying that because there's numerous amount of wrestling organizations that these wrestlers can go now.
Yeah,
This ain't
absolutely.
2001. But I think Matt Riddle wins it so far right now. I love what they're doing with him and Randy Orton. Him getting over on Randy Orton is going to make him even look better as a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be surprised if Brock Lesnar beat him for the World Heavyweight Championship, which would be interesting in the motherfucker.
Yeah, especially in real life.
Yeah.
Hey, and Matt Riddle singing the Randy Orton theme song on the way down to the ring 2 weeks ago was some of the funniest shit.
Yes.
like
Gee.
he was singing this shit out this
Hard
song. And he was trying to bop to it. That
Yeah,
was
like-
funny as hell.
He's like, yo, do y'all not understand this is the shit?
Right.
And being that, I think I saw a report that said the WWE won't be tested for marijuana. I think him and Randy Orton blew one back or had an edible and was like, yo, that shit was funny than motherfucking Jack.
What was that? I hear voices crying. I was
Right.
like, yo, this fool is crazy.
So with that being said, like from what you see from the Money in the Bank right now, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, even though I do think that what you say about Riddle is very high in the possibility, to me, especially after what happened last year with Money in the Bank, I think the Money in the Bank is all about the resurgence of Big E. Like I honestly do, because just calling back to just last year, pandemic or not, or whenever. I'm sorry, not even pandemic, 2019, right when they did the draft and Fox and all of that. Basically, since the New Day broke up, this is supposed to be this way. Big E was supposed to be alley-ooped a moment to cash in on his solo stardom, and what better way to do that than by a spectacular performance at a pay-per-view like Money in the Bank, amongst all the guys that either we love or expect to be next, for him to come out in front of that group and then take on, I say specifically, the WWE champion on Raw, because I don't think it does him any good to face Roman Reigns anytime soon.
Not at all.
I'm gonna stand on that.
Roman Reigns, okay, yeah, I'm gonna say that for the show. I'm gonna say that for the because you brought it's a perfect segue. But go ahead.
All right. So with him being able to do that and then get on Raw, which is the struggle brand, the brand that does that the champs face the challenger for 3 months and then they move on to the next challenger for 3 months. Like, yeah, what better cog, if you will, than Big E to come through and fuck all that shit up and then potentially come out the champ.
Because to go into a perfect segue here, I think, ladies and gentlemen, Roman Reigns is entering that territory that's only been seen by a handful of wrestlers.
Okay.
In the WWE. He's entering that Hulk Hogan territory. He's entering that Macho Man territory. He's entering that Ultimate Warrior territory. He's entering that Triple H and Stone Cold in the Rock territory. He's entering that John Cena territory as not only the top guy, the guy.
Yeah.
Everything that Roman Reigns is saying in his promos, I now believe that Roman Reigns did that shit for a reason.
Yeah.
As we see the growth and the power that he's been wielding, especially backstage. Because I saw an article, and I don't know how true this is, but I honestly hope it is true.
Okay.
That the reason why the Hell in a Cell match, this sounds like wrestling Twitter pulling something out of their hat to the point where I hope this is true again.
Okay.
There's a rumor that came out that said Roman Reigns decided to go to Vince McMahon and say, hey, it's Father's Day weekend, I needed off. I had planned something with the wife and kids. And I haven't been around them, since I've been back. Like I want to. So I'm taking this weekend off. So we can just do this. We can just do this Hell in the Cell on Friday. And, give SmackDown its biggest ratings. Even though we already get major ratings with me. And Vince McMahon was like, you know what? Motherfucker, you deserve it. Get the weekend off. I think that's total bullshit. But if that is true, ladies and gentlemen, he's there. He's officially there to have enough pull to be able to pull that. Now I say that jokingly, but I'm dead ass serious. Because other than that, everything to what we saw him do to Rey Mysterio, to what he has been doing to his own family, to what he's done to Cesaro, what he's done with Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman. Roman Reigns is at that territory where the only people he needs to wrestle is major people.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm hoping that the match with John Cena at SummerSlam is true.
Okay.
John Cena said that he will be back in the WWE. He just don't know the time and the date. I think that's basically just saying the night after Money in the Bank, we're going to see John Cena on SmackDown. Or that week.
Okay.
Also, fans are coming back in the arena. So now fans get to really, 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 really boo this man.
Yeah.
Really, really give him hell, especially when he do some heinous ass shit. So he's monster heel territory, ladies and gentlemen. He's the smallest monster heel that I've seen in years.
True.
He's like 6'5", 270. Like he's at the Diesel as a heel territory. He's at the Undertaker as a heel territory. He's at he's at Hulk Hogan NWO heel. He's Bret Hart. He's Bret Hart heel. He's Shawn Michaels heel. He's everything that you've wanted. Only thing he ain't got is an official name of a group that's gonna have his back. So as a monster heel, you can't put an Eddie Guerrero in this place. And what I mean by that is, remember Eddie Guerrero, I think it was No Way Out in 2005. I can't remember the exact year, forgive me. But Eddie Guerrero wins the world championship.
Right.
From Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was on his way out. So Brock Lesnar's not even a monster heel at this case.
Right.
This has to be a monster face or somebody you plan on putting over. That is a face. So I'm going to give you that name as that person that, to me, is the only face in the WWE that should go over on Roman Reigns. That's a new guy.
Okay.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, I know somebody's like, Keith Lee. I'm removing Keith Lee out until they get their copyright situation settled.
Right. Yeah. Which is crazy, by the way.
Yes, exactly. And we'll talk about that later. But it has to be somebody that is going to get the major push afterwards. The only person that is Matt Riddle. So just how I said that shit about Big E, Matt Riddle could do that same shit against Roman Reigns, and he becomes a monster face. A major baby face. Because if you bring somebody new into the equation, like you can't do it you can't do it turning Seth Rollins heel and he move like they're on the same level in some cases.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm with you on that.
Like, you have to, just like when everybody was saying that it has to be somebody specific to take down The Undertaker, and it's somebody that needs that push. So it should have been Roman Reigns a couple of years ago to be that person, stuff like that. Remember that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That, my friends, is somebody that if you bring somebody new and want to make them a star, that's you have to do it. And before Matt Riddle even got into WWE, motherfuckers was like, yo, that could be your next John Cena. Just in a goofy way. And I get it. Mm-hmm. But speaking of John Cena, if you're not going to do that, he only needs to face John Cena at SummerSlam. And he only needs to face The Rock in Jerry's World at WrestleMania. And I'm even going to go even further. I've been watching Superstars again, Camp.
Okay.
And I noticed something this morning. Because he was on like 3 back-to-back episodes in 1992. The Ultimate Warrior was the only legit world champion that was just like going to Superstars tapings. Again, the only match I've ever seen Hulk Hogan wrestle on WWF Superstars is against Dino Bravo. Somebody tell me the other wrestling match with Hulk Hogan on Superstars. Can't name it, can you? Can't.
Nope, that's kind of why I stopped watching. I was like,
right.
Damn, Hulk Hogan don't never be on here.
He just be in a goddamn intro.
Yeah. I was like, damn, like, he really don't be on here.
He really don't be on here. And then we see him as like the Brother Love Show.
Yeah.
And some shit like that. And I can only remember him being on there when Earthquake fucked him up.
See?
So, what I'm about to tell y'all, man, is weird what I'm about to say for a world champion. But you know what? We need to get back on our real shit. Roman Reigns will have the Hulk Hogan schedule. That's how special he is. He would only wrestle on major pay-per-views as long as he's champ.
I mean, hey, we are getting on. We are closing in on the year.
Yeah,
we're closing in on the year.
Gee, he will only be at SummerSlam. He would basically be Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
What he would do, like, you know what? Tribal Chief got a rest. I held y'all down for a full year. Nobody can beat me. I'm going to take a rest. I'm going to holler at y'all. My cousins got my light work.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Everything that was done, every catchphrase that was made, every moment that was created from, 2014 until 2020 has now become prophecy.
Yeah.
It is Roman Reigns' yard. He is the big dog. It is his ring. He is that guy. He is the guy. He is that guy. Like, he is the champion. He is the main eventer, the headliner, the guy on the active roster with the most headlining WrestleManias and pay-per-views. It's all prophecy now.
Yep. So
now we're just rolling out what the prophecy looks like, because he's put it all together now. The look, the mic moments, the matches, everything that people thought that Roman Reigns was lacking on the way to this moment. Bing! So now you got to give him that run. Much like you're saying, it's like, hey, what more do I got to do?
Yeah, and he's the heel.
Yeah.
Like, as a face, he going to be on Raw every week. He going to be on SmackDown every week. But as the heel, hey, he can literally sit up in the back of the show in his throne and just be like, hey, man, yeah, you did that for the family. I messed with you. Hey, but see, here's the thing. Like, the Royal Rumble is coming up, and I don't like something. I'm going to need y'all help. And then it'd be like Roman Reigns and the Usos versus, Cesaro, Big E, and Ricochet or some shit. And like, that's your main event for Royal Rumble. He don't defend no belt though. Survivor Series, you know what? The family is back. So how about you go get Naomi? It's me, you, Jay, and Naomi versus like the Hart family or some shit. I don't know. But World Championship? Oh, SummerSlam and WrestleMania. We need that. He's the heel. We at a point now we ain't got to see the heel wrestle all the damn time.
True.
Like Night of Champions come, G. I got to show Bobby Lashley. I'm number one. I'm the most dominant. I'm the tribal chief. Specialist champion versus champion. Other than that, we need to see him talking on the mic and not wrestling. He needs to be Hulk Hogan. He needs to be Sergeant Slaughter, who I think as the champion wrestled no times on Superstars. He wrestled on the, matter of fact, he might have wrestled once on Superstars as the champion.
Yeah, maybe.
One.
And that was really also just to burn a flag.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't really he didn't have the match to have the match. He was just on some, hey, no, fuck America, and you know what's coming from me.
Right.
I'm Sergeant fucking Slaughter.
I'm going to put this Iraqi flag on Scott Casey, and then I'm going to burn up this flag right here. Like, he needs to be on that. He's at the heel status right now that when he beats John Cena at SummerSlam, holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Because they got to give him the win. Because when they had the pay-per-view beforehand, he won, but it was like light. And John Cena, you could tell he was like, you know what? Let him fight John Cena twice and lose one of the matches.
Yeah.
At SummerSlam, he beats him, but then John Cena comes back like, nah. Because you know like John Cena is. John Cena in the hey, we're going to continue this feud until I win.
Right.
That's why we thought Drew McIntyre shit was going to happen. But yeah, he can do all of that shit and lose that shit at Night of Champions and then gain it back for the Royal Rumble. But just because The Rock is going to be at Survivor Series to say, John Cena or my cousin. You know what? It really don't matter because right now I don't fuck with either one of them. So if I wrestle John Cena at WrestleMania, this will be the third time ever. I beat him. He beat me. We need the rubber match.
Yeah, true.
Or I could show my cousin who's the real tribal chief. Either way it go, I'm announcing here at SummerSlam that I am challenging the winner between John Cena and Roman Reigns, or whoever is the champion at WrestleMania in Dallas. Because then that's when you really announce that he's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, in the biggest Hall of Fame ceremony ever. Look, man, I'm tired of working, Cam. I'm tired of working.
So I am, you know what? Due to the fact that John Cena lost the match that I thought he was supposed to win, I'm still here because you can't do your job promo.
Okay.
Like, I thought he was going to win that one. I think now, again, prophecy. I think it is time for Roman Reigns to dominate the generation or the eras before him. Like, and that's I'm going to throw it out there right now just in case. I don't know how I personally feel about WrestleMania Dallas triple threat match for the Universal title. Between,
I don't want that. I don't want.
Yeah, The Rock, John Cena.
It's got to be The Rock and Roman Reigns, and that's it. I
dig it. I just want to nip that in the bud right there. Like, I'm tired of triple threat matches at WrestleMania, period. But I don't want to see that one specifically.
Yeah, it would have to be. It would have to be The Rock challenging one of them or whoever's the champion.
Right.
And if you try to put all three of them in a match, then you should have did that shit with Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and the Macho Man at WrestleMania 9.
Yeah.
And Sid Justice to be your special referee.
Well, it worked out a lot better.
It would have worked out a hell of a lot better. But The Rock has to come in because Rock is slated to be at Survivor Series. Okay. Apparently. They got him locked in. So The Rock would have to challenge the winner. Mm-hmm. And he's literally the only person that could get away with that shit. Because this is the same nigga at like a early pay-per-view say, I'm going to wrestle the champion at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I mean not SummerSlam, at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And that's when he beat CM Punk for the championship. And which led to him and John Cena at WrestleMania.
I'm looking forward to the potential of Roman Reigns telling The Rock to fall in line.
Man.
Because you didn't really do shit for us.
Man, just because you put me in Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
I suppose we talking about here. This is what our family does.
Right.
Hollywood is cool.
Right.
But here, I'm the tribal chief.
You know what I'm saying? And I've dominated longer than you.
Yep.
You know, it's so ill how Roman Reigns could literally take John Cena's place with all the same things that John Cena said about The Rock going into the WrestleMania matches. He was like, I've been here longer than you. Right. And you put me on.
And it could be a little bit of a family feud in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's like, because your grandfather is the High Chief Pia Maivia. Mm-hmm. However, my High Chief, the High Chief that I honor, is my dad and my uncle, the Wild Samoans. And we gonna show the Maivias that the Onahis, however you pronounce their last name, the A's are better than the M's. Word up to Rodney.
Yeah.
Look, I'm tired of working, Camp. I'm tired of working.
Hey, man, listen. The WWE could close out very strong 2021 if they just take half of what you're saying.
Yeah, just use a skeleton. Just skeleton it out.
You know?
And then y'all do the rest. Because I want to transition to shit that I thought that we had to touch on.
Okay.
It's black men. I had to touch on this.
Okay.
So it was a big fuss in the WWE and just the internet in general, the internet wrestling community in general. Mm-hmm. So 2 days ago, it's a black woman. I had told y'all on the show that 2 black women was hired to write for the WWE.
Yes,
Comedian
correct.
Kenise Mobley was hired to be one of those writers. Mm-hmm. Now, she was on the podcast and she talked about her getting fired. Now, let me first say this. She was wrong for this.
Okay.
But she went on a podcast and she talked about how she was hired for the Raw creative writing team, and she admitted on the podcast that she knew absolutely nothing about wrestling. Mm. Actually, on the podcast, she admitted that she didn't even know the name of the champion, and she called Bobby Lashley Bobby Ashley. She went on to say that while she was surprised that she learned that she was hired and given only the job because of her background in production and comedy writing, so it was like it was perfect. While she said that, she said she only took the job because she was making 3 times of what she was getting paid while working at a non-for-profit. So you basically went on a podcast and admitted, well, I ain't really fucking with this job in the first place, but I'm getting paid 3 times what I was getting, so it's lit. Now, on that one, she's totally wrong.
Okay, wait, hold up. Why? Why?
Because you should keep your business in your part. Like, keep your business. Like, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, if we're talking off of the pod, like we talked before we hit live. Mm-hmm. I can't hit record and have that same conversation.
Right. Okay.
That's why.
Because I was like, I just want to be clear, because I was like, she sounds like every other black person that landed to some new shit anyway.
Yeah.
I was like,
but she's not gonna say that.
I don't even know how to do this shit, but they paying though. Right. So shit, I'm gonna see if I talk to HR, you know what I'm saying, get you an interview.
Right, but you're not gonna say that over the intercom.
Yeah, no.
She basically was on the intercom, and on Busted Open Radio, Bully Ray was talking about how bad it looked for the WWE to hire a creative writer for their flagship show. Mm-hmm. But not only go on the podcast, but they talked about this and say they wasn't even a fan of the business. Now, that does on the surface look bad, but the WWE is a television show.
Right.
I don't necessarily have to know wrestling to know how to write television.
Right.
Oh, that's the bad guy. That's the good guy. Oh, let's let.
Right.
You might read a couple of magazines. You might watch a couple of videos. Like the niggas who wrote, all of the, the Marvel shit. They knew what they was writing about, but they probably knew as, hey man, just give me a couple of books. All right, cool. Writers are gifted like that.
Right.
And I think the internet wrestling community just all of a sudden thinks that somebody has to be an extreme wrestling fan to write for this. Like, so you mean to tell me I got to be an extreme Roman Reigns fan to write for? That's the issue that I had. And in a sense, that cost her job. Just as much as the other shit we talked about. Right. Because the internet wrestling community, most of them was white, was up in arms that black women got hired to write for wrestling because they feel like that's a job they should have. But the other part about it is that when they heard what she said in the podcast and they realized that you hired a black woman who knows nothing about wrestling, they got up in arms. Now, some might say, well, this doesn't happen a lot. And you know what? There's not a lot of white people that you can hire that's going to go on a podcast and be like, you know what? Hey, these dumbasses at the WWE hire me and I just know who Hulk Hogan is. That's it. Like, who the fuck is Jake the Cake Roberts? Like, but Freddie Prinze Jr.
Thank you.
Was an actor.
Right.
And a writer. His dad was a comedian. His dad was a very funny comedian. His dad was Chico from Chico and the Man.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Freddie Prinze is Chico and the Man.
I mean, shit. I mean, I knew who Freddie Prinze was. I knew.
You knew. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, yeah, he did the like Can't Hardly Wait, Save the Last Dance Part 7.
Yeah, matter of fact, I think it was Can't Hardly Wait, wasn't it?
Like with Usher being the DJ in his movie, right?
Yeah. She's All That.
There you go. So, yeah, see, can't hardly save the Last Dance too, right?
Right, and Usher was like he was the DJ at the school, like pop, pop, pop. But anyway, Freddie Prinze Jr. was a member of the writing team for the WWE.
Years.
Right? He didn't wrestle. Right. He didn't wrestle Ole Anderson in WCW. He didn't get smacked in the head by Paul Lee dangerously like Jason Hervey did.
There you go.
And it worked out pretty well for Freddie Prinze Jr. He was there for years. He was there for like a year or two. But if you know comedy, you know how to write this shit. If you know drama, you know how to write this shit. And if a motherfucker's in that world, they know how to write it. But I just wanted to bring that shit up because I thought it was disappointing because it looked bad. First of all, there's a reason why I don't tweet often about wrestling. Because I don't want that motherfucking wrestling fan that's got like 200 followers and he only follows like 4 people and they're all big-breasted women in wrestling in AEW to like intercept one of my tweets. I'm like, yeah, bro, you don't know what the fuck. It seems like the internet wrestling community always come after black people. It seems like to me that they always come after women. We saw this when you saw a number of the women talking about, their experiences with some wrestlers. Now, you did have some others in the community. It was like, people need like this part. Like some people wanted Patrick Clark, a.k.a. Velveteen Dream, gone. Some of those same people want Riddle gone. But it was a more fans that was like, oh no, we need to keep them, and I can't believe these bitches, and it's more of them than it is the others. Also, again, they always seem to come after black people and women, black women too.
Okay.
Like Bianca Belair is always getting shit on by the numerous amount of white people in the internet wrestling community. Like she's a favorite for them to pick on. Sasha Banks as well. Easy target for a lot of the white people in the internet wrestling community. Like Bobby Lashley has gotten it. Keith Lee has gotten it. Like anytime I look at the internet wrestling community, or if I see retweets from people, or retweets from people commenting, telling people, that they're wild, get the fuck out of here. It's normally a white person shitting on somebody that's a black wrestler. When you look at some of these podcasts, like some of these podcasts that people just like us, but white,
Right.
that do pods, they talking shit about minorities in wrestling. And the unfortunate shit is that because of the demographic and shit, that's what the WWE seems to always cater to. Like, I'm pissed. And I don't never really get pissed about shit in wrestling. But when I see Jason Riker still on Raw, but the other two people, Wesley Blake and I forgot my man, Steve Coulter and Wesley Blake, they got fired. They got future endeavored. But you got this fuck nigga, Jason Riker, who's still on TV, who the one who was basically bigging up Trump and these Proud Boys and all this shit. And just so anybody that loves Trump and listens to this podcast, I don't fuck with Buddy. But I understand the game. So if you're a fan of him, I'm not really shitting on you until you start caping for the fuck shit that he does. Because I am smart enough to know that I have people that I know that has that are at a tax bracket that probably needs him in office. And they can still say, fuck this nigga here. And I still be like, you on bullshit, but I get your bullshit. But you got other people that's like Proud Boys and all this shit, and they don't really fuck with Black Lives Matter. And I'm not saying that I fuck with them like that either, but they don't fuck with the organization and they don't fuck with Black Lives.
Right. I was gonna say, yeah,
that's the difference.
That's a big difference.
That's the big difference. Because again, I ain't the biggest fan of Black Lives Matter, the organization.
Right.
But I am a fan of Black Lives.
Yeah.
And people don't know how to distinguish the difference between the two. And they see some of the fuck shit that Buddy ass was doing and they support it. And you got a fuck dude like Jason Riker who gets on Twitter and regurgitates that shit. Especially during the time where it was the wrong time to do it. George Floyd gets killed by a cop who just did way too much and should be punished by more than 22.5 years.
Word.
With 15 if he does good behavior.
Right.
That's the shit that Buddy ass was supporting. And not only does he still have a job with the WWE, because, I ain't saying he can't get no job, but y'all gonna put this dude on TV every day. And not only that, you trying to make this dude a face?
Yeah.
You trying to make this dude a good guy? You know who the internet wrestling community who hate all of these women that you have, that you supposedly support? Marsha, you know who they look like? Him. So when I see a black woman lose her job, part of it is her own, but a large part of it as well. And just even if it wasn't the case, seeing a whole bunch of white men and some goofy ass niggas look at her and say she can't write about wrestling because she don't know what a fucking drop toe hold is. She's not here to write how a match is going to go.
Right.
She's here to craft a storyline. And you lame ass niggas and you virgins out there who ain't never seen a pussy that was in front of them. A real one. It was either one you put your hand in or some lube in. It was one you saw on TV. Y'all clowns. These people ain't gotta know who Classy Freddie Blassie is to write.
Right.
This is TV, fam. This is sports entertainment. These niggas is not winning a fucking gold medal at the Olympics for pro wrestling. Nigga, would y'all understand that this shit is as the world turns, guiding light, all my children, passions, one life to live, General Hospital. Do you know Stamford, Connecticut is basically Port Charles, Pine Valley, Salem? Like, it's essentially that. It's no different. Behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, we all know wrestlers put in motherfucking work. And that shit is real as they come when they do these things. But the fact that I saw white people especially shitting on a black woman for getting a job in the WWE to write was sickening, and fuck them.
Cosign. I try to stay away from that portion of wrestling Twitter because, I mean, even though like they are not shy about how much they hate Black women and Black people, but they hate women in general, and that's another part of this that we can get into at a later date. But let's stick to Black women and this young lady losing her job and all of that. In my personal opinion, you only need to really know about technical wrestling, like as far as like holds, maneuvers, prowess, and things of that nature, if you're the mic commentator, not the color guy, or not just the enhancer of like, so like for instance, Michael Cole needs to maybe have knowledge of that. And I'm only saying that because I grew up listening to Jim Ross and Gorilla Monsoon.
Right.
That's really the only reason I'm saying that. But Bobby the Brain Heenan, he didn't need to really know wrestling holds to give me good commentary. Just much like Byron Saxton and Corey Graves don't. Right. Present day. Right. So to say that somebody needs wrestling knowledge to be a writer, for athletes that take acting classes to help deliver the storylines and the lines that they have to say is complete bullshit. The people that the writers of General Hospital could come to Monday Night Raw, and it would probably be the best show on television, period. But you know what? But you know who the internet wrestling fans are also? The guys, the men, the virgins, if you will, because man is like too strong of a word. But they're the ones that made backyard wrestling popular.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're the ones like, oh, hey, no storyline at all. No reason to even do this. I'm just going to put on some white track pants and a pair of Vans, and I'm going to jump off the garage on a flaming table of thumbtacks.
Right.
Oh my God, what the fuck, dude? Like that, and that's their shit. Like that's it. Like they're the reason why. They're the reason why Dean Ambrose wants to, or John Moxley has a death match audience that thinks he's doing some of the best work of his life now.
And I fuck with Eddie Kingston, man, but Eddie Kingston got to stop doing I hate WWE promos. That shit's lame.
Yeah, it's super lame. It's super lame, especially when, as great as he is, nobody's ever called him a top 5 wrestler of any past year. He's been a lot of people's favorites, and he does great work. So I'm not shitting on him. But fam, you're not even like when we get to really talking about like the guys or the girls, the men and the women that run this shit, you don't come up in the first 2 tiers of the conversation. So chill out. Like you're
a glue guy.
Yeah, like you're not better than the owner, my G. Chill.
You're a great locker room guy who's gonna give us a great match.
Yeah. But like, I mean, at the end of the day, you're not better than your owner. You're not better than your legacy act. You're not better than a couple of the guys that's coming up that people think that should be holding top spots. And that's just in your own company. So relax. But also though, I think I kind of feel a couple different ways. Because part of me believes that WWE hired this Black woman as a pander play that went left. Because my other issue with this is stand on your hire. You did with fucking Lars Sullivan twice. You do with
Jackson Riker.
Yeah, with MAGA Man 3000 over there. Like you stand on a lot of piss poor humans, and you give them 6-7 figures and time off to figure it out and do sensitivity training and do anger management and do just a bunch of other bullshit. But yet this woman does one interview, the jig is up, and now she's gone. I'm not fucking with that. Fuck these clowns on the internet, because that's exactly who they are. Like, fuck them clowns. I'm more pissed at the front office or HR or who the fuck ever, because stand on your hire. Or admit that you pandered, right? Or admit that you pandered and you didn't even check this woman's qualifications. You just said, oh shit. Well, they have been saying we need more black writers. So, well, let's hire her. She has an impressive resume. Like, give her a chance to try and fail, because y'all been saying Raw been in the toilet doing what y'all doing now.
Yep.
I think to a certain degree, wrestling gets overcrowded with too many people that swear they know everything about fucking wrestling.
Because that's the whole thing with the internet wrestling community. And you know what? I put myself in it, because I done said it a couple of times, like, hey, man, I'm tired of working for y'all. I love wrestling. I love wrestling too much for them motherfuckers to hire me. I started getting in the motherfucking interview and started talking about WrestleMania 3 and 4 like I was there. Tell a motherfucker, hey, man, look, the fact of the matter is, y'all should have never had a goddamn lumberjack match at the second In Your House. It's the worst match I've ever seen. Who wrote that? Man, fire me, fact. Throw me out. Throw me out. Because I'm talking to y'all about a product, but I'm overcompensating with talking to y'all about the product. It's like, remember that episode of that Dame Dash show?
Oh, yeah, Ultimate Hustler?
They're the Ultimate Hustler. And I think it was the episode where one of the dudes came in and MOP was in the studio. Mm-hmm. And they was aggravated by dude. And he's like, man, dude, a fan. Like, we don't want no fan in here.
Right.
We don't want no fan in here. Like, I could never be in a studio session with Benny Siegel. I can't. Not because I think I'm gonna get shot, because I don't think I'm gonna get shot. Nah, because I'm a fan. I'm a fan out. I remember living in Atlanta. When we lived in Atlanta, I told you that there's only two people that will walk in those Best Buy doors, because I was working at Best Buy at the time. There's only two people that if they walked up in there, I'll fan out. And one of them is Ric Flair. Mm-hmm. Ric Flair ever walk up in those doors, I'm like, ah! Like, that's it.
Right.
Like, you should be a fan of your job.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, that's it. And when you hire people, like, they don't, especially in that ilk, they ain't necessarily have to be, you know, like, they don't have to be the foremost expert at what you do on camera.
Yeah. What
can you bring from your mind that'll make this product better?
Right. And you know what? And also with that, though, if people have been paying attention to the 365s, the 24/7s, the Chronicles, the docs, and all this other shit, what you're going to find out is that even some of our greatest superstars of today got into wrestling on a whim.
Yeah.
You know, they may have been the biggest fan or had knowledge of it, but like didn't think they could do it. Or maybe they seen this one match, was like, oh, wow, adrenaline rush. Boom. That's what I want to do. I mean, hey, give people that clearance. Like, I don't know about you, Bang, and I know, and I'm going to speak for these internet goofs, but none of them came out the womb wrestling fans.
Nah.
Like, you wasn't on your mama titty watching Raw. Like, you just weren't. You know what I'm saying? And you definitely weren't retaining the information like you knew you fuck with it. What happened is you either were at a lunch table, on the playground, or you were at a family member's or a family friend's house, and that bitch was on, and you sat down watching it, and then you probably just never stopped watching from that moment.
Right.
Like, you could have been into anything before that. You might have been into to fucking Pet Rocks. You know what I'm saying? Especially some of these goofy ass motherfuckers on the internet. You're probably into fucking Pet Rocks and Pokemon and all this other lame ass shit. And then was finally like, oh shit, people are hitting each other there. Oh, I want to see this because nobody plays with me at the playground. I'm usually getting pushed down. I want to fight back. So, you learn how to fight because of John Cena. That shouldn't have to do with now moving forward how you are going on and on the internet about people that don't really know wrestling or are unfamiliar with the product and costing them jobs in their livelihoods.
Right. So I agree with your point, man. Stand on your hire. They should have stood on their hire. They probably would have worked itself out on their end. And fuck Jason Riker too. All right, man. So I gave my guarantee. I think Riddle was going to be the Money in the Bank winner. However, I still stand on the best thing to do is to have Big E turn on Kofi as Kofi defeats Bobby Lashley to win the WWE World Championship, which sets off Bobby Lashley in One Direction. Still stand, at the top of the card. But you see Big E versus Kofi. And part of that, too, adding on to that, the MVP part, because if you think, well, Bobby Lashley has to get his rematch, the black man in MVP will look at the situation and go, you know what? We can wait on our rematch clause. This is interesting right here. Let's just watch, and we'll get the belt back. What's your guarantee?
My guarantee this week, honestly, I'll go for the low-hanging fruit here. I think the Drew McIntyre heel turn is imminent and necessary. Because he just got his ass whooped twice.
By Matt Riddle?
You know what I'm saying? He got his ass whooped twice in the same week. Obviously, he's too infatuated. What was it? Winston Churchill and Dungeons and Dragons and shit.
What the fuck is you talking about, fam?
You know what I'm saying?
Inspired by Winston Churchill.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, fam, you know what? Take all that bullshit from over there, from across the pond, and sit on it and spin, bro. Because that shit's dead. Americans is kicking your ass.
Man,
what are you gonna do about it? So, so with that said, the heel turn for Drew McIntyre is imminent and necessary. Who will be his target? Honestly, after what happened on Raw, I'm gonna say Xavier Woods. Because I think the performance that he put on probably has him on a high right now. And even though we don't know how much we love the New Day as heels, elevating them as faces against monster heels is always a good look for the New Day.
Well, we're going to talk about the draft coming up because reportedly the days have been set. So I think if all of this is going to happen, it's going to happen around the draft. So it'll help all of that out. Man, close us out.
All right. Hey, listen, man, we appreciate y'all for checking out the show each and every week. Your likes, your comments, your shares are greatly appreciated. But hey, you know what? Since we did come fresh off the topic, hey, tell an internet nerd about us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Tell one of these goofy geeks, one of these sock puppet jerk-offs, or tell one of these blow-up doll beaters that we exist and we are black and we talk wrestling in the way that they don't like it. Because you know what? I might hop on Twitter one night and just call people a bunch of virgins and say they don't slur shit for about 2 hours. And I'm going to get back to doing things I like to do.
Bitch, you fat motherfucker.
So that's why your mom is a fat bitch, but I'd fuck just to spite you. You know what I'm saying? How about that? You know what I'm saying? Then you know what? Give time to slander them and I'll go back to doing things that I do. You know what I'm saying? Things that I like to do, like enjoying edibles and the fine wine.
I did take one before the show.
You know what I'm saying? And vagina from the woman I plan to marry. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. You dig what I'm saying? We'll do that. So please alert them to this show. And always remember, man, with extreme gratitude, if you ever want to talk about wrestling in an unconventional way, you do so by checking out the First Black Champ podcast. Camp, bang, we are out.